Carry a cat in your car if you're going to have a couple of marijuana cigarettes. This confuses the dog where his drive is channeled to chasing these things instead of looking for the marijuana.
Welcome back to The Verdict. I'm Paula Todd. Ever wonder about the best way to hide pot from the police? An ex-top narcotics agent wants to tell you. Just saw some of it. It'll cost you $30. Barry Cooper's DVD tells you how to stash marijuana in your car without getting caught. This fall, he'll release a second DVD. It's going to be all about protecting your home stash of marijuana, and he should know Cooper is a former narcotics officer who was once considered among the top cops in Texas, probably not now. Where? Did you know that in Texas more marijuana is seized each year than in any other state? Why would he do this? Well, Barry Cooper joins us now. He is in Dallas, Texas. Barry Cooper, why would you do this?
Logic, reason, maturity, and compassion taught me over the last several years that our war on drugs here in America, excuse me, my earpiece fell out. Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, I'm sorry. Logic, reason, and compassion, and the facts and the evidence. What the American government is doing to citizens in this country because of marijuana causes more harm on the families than if the citizens were just allowed to smoke the marijuana.
So you're saying that you think that the penalties are too high. Do you think marijuana should be legalized altogether?
Marijuana should be legalized altogether and never to be taxed by any government. It's a free plant to humanity, and they need to leave it as such.
Are you a marijuana enjoyer yourself?
No, ma'am, I smoke, but I don't inhale.
I think I've heard somebody say that before. You have attracted an awful lot of anger from many people, including former colleagues, cops who are just trying to do their job, who say you shouldn't be telling people how to break the law, Barry Cooper.
Okay, those are the same people that would have suggested it's okay to beat a slave when they escaped in this country because that's what the law said they could do. When we arrest a marijuana user in the United States, they're placed in jail where they face the possibility of being raped or stabbed or even murdered. So we're causing more harm, just like we did with the slaves. It was a bad law with the slaves. It's a bad law with the marijuana. When
did you and how did you, why did you decide to leave behind your stellar career as a narcotics officer?
The level of narcotics I worked was higher than most narcotics officers, and because of the level I worked at for our government, I wound up in circles where I began arresting connected people such as city councilmen and the mayor's son for methamphetamine, and a local task force lost their funding because of the arrest I was making. So I was sort of pushed out in a way.
I saw a psychologist, an American psychologist today, trying to analyze you from afar, and she suggests that one of the reasons you're doing this, that you're fighting the law, is because you are bitter or disillusioned with the system. Are you?
Well, that lady talked to me for 2 minutes. I don't see how she can analyze me psychologically. The answer to that is American citizens are bitter and disenchanted toward law enforcement. We have 4% of the world's population, yet we house 26% of the world's prisoners. 1 in 32 adults in the United States is either on probation, on parole, or in prison. We've gone too far with our laws in this country.
But isn't it up to a democratically elected government to write the laws and change the laws? Who put you in charge?
Oh, nobody put me in charge. And going through the system, there's so much corruption to get a law changed, it's nearly impossible. And my suggestion would be Rosa Parks had to break the law to get the law changed. I'm certainly not comparing myself to her. But sometimes Americans have to take a stance and yell a little louder than what we've been yelling already. And I'm just the voice of the people saying what they're emailing me and asking me to say.
And what if somebody thinks other laws aren't particularly suitable for their lifestyle? Laws against speeding, racing, laws against drinking while driving, laws against stealing. Is it your advice that if people think those laws are unreasonable, they should do what you do and just break them?
Absolutely not. We need to look at the law. laws against persons and property such as stealing or burglaries or thefts, I think it's understood across the world that these laws are there for our safety, and those laws need to be punished. And I'm not soft on crime, I'm just hard on unjust punishments for something that should not be a crime.
Barry, you know that the legislators and the voters who elected them to pass the anti-drug laws in part did so because they are convinced that marijuana can be a health hazard, that marijuana can obscure your judgment, that marijuana can contribute to other criminal activity. What do you say to them?
That is not why they passed the law. That's a lie. Harry Anslinger testified before our Senate in 1937 that marijuana should be illegal because it caused white women to seek relations with Negroes. And I'm quoting him, it's a racist law that has gone out of control because of governments being addicted to the black market money that the marijuana industry brings them.
You know, yesterday on The Verdict, we interviewed Marc Emery. He is the Canadian who the American government wants to extradite for his marijuana seed-selling business. What do you think about that case? Okay,
listen, my plea to the citizens of Canada and the Canadian government, please do not allow our American bullyism to force you guys to release that man into our custody. Do not give up one of your countrymen because of us. If you send Marc Emery to the United States, you will never see him alive again. Please don't do it. I'm asking for the Canadian government and the citizens of Canada, please stand up, get on the phones, protest. Do not send Marc Emery over here.
I think they heard you loud and clear. I'm going to say thank you to Barry Cooper. And when we return, Conrad Black's attorney says his client is stubborn but innocent. More on the closing statements when we come back. You're
and he was
watching The
so
Verdict
right on the money, even
News.
identifying the appropriate reason that marijuana was banned because of the 1920s obsession, and became a 1930s obsession with the commingling of the races, black jazz musicians and white women, out to see them. He's got it all there, and his plea on behalf of myself is stunning. That went all across Canada. It was a nationwide thing, and it was the most direct plea I've ever heard from any American regarding my issue or my life and my future. So props up for Barry Cooper. It was great.